Okay, well, let's see. We are going live now. Welcome, everyone. I am with Alexander Gates, and we are talking today about vision boards. We have a few other people who will be joining us. Maybe they said if they were able to, they were going to jump on too. So for now, it's us, it's just us, which is great either way. But Alexander is one of the coaches. He's a relationship dating coach, life coach. And he is, I need to get off of this frozen screen here, get onto this one. Okay. Always something. Here we go. This is good. So Alexander he recorded a video for us just recently and went through all of the steps for us of what a vision board is and how we can make it work for us. It was kind of a quick summary. And I definitely wanted to get some more information from him. And then I took some notes from what he shared, and I'll also share some of my own understanding and experiences of vision board, what it is, and why I love vision boards so much. So first of all, I also have to warn you, I have I've been fighting a cough this week, and so I get choking a lot, so I have to take breaks often anyway. But I wanted to keep doing this, so I didn't cancel or postpone. So Alexander, I would like to ask you first to tell us why you like vision boards, or when was the first time you heard about it? What made you like it?
I've always been interested in vision boards, and I've had dream boards and stuff in the past and tried them out. And I liked the idea. I liked the way it felt to have my goals and dreams on a board that I could see, but they never really came to pass back when I started using them. And eventually I figured out, I've learned from a few different mentors on how to use them myself. And so I started to implement my own systems on how I use them. And the reason I like it is because you can take a goal and visualize it and turn that vision into reality. And it makes it just such a smooth process compared to just setting a goal and then figuring it out. Just visualizing it makes it so that it goes from where you are right now to where you're trying to get to, and you know exactly what's coming because you've already visualized it.
That's actually the most intriguing part for me as well. And I don't know if it's just lazy or just my inability to figure out all the details of how to get from A to Z or A to even B. But I love that you can visualize it, and I keep saying that term. You can imagine it, imagine where you want to be at some point with this goal or dream or whatever it is, and that is essentially what it takes. That's the biggest piece, is just imagining it. But our brains somehow, universe, inspiration, however, all of that, faith, the power of faith, it's all sorry about that. It's all a result of just our thoughts. And it's as easy as coming up with this idea or the vision of what you want. And I can't say it's always that easy, because of course you have to do the actions, but we don't always know what those actions are to get to where we want to be. So do you have any examples that you like to share of some goals that you've had that you put on your vision board that you brought them to pass?
There's been quite a bit. One of my favorites was when there was a new truck that came out that I really wanted. And at the time, it wasn't in the budget. It was also not useful for me at the time because the wife and kids, and we didn't really use a truck. We had no use for a truck, but I really wanted it. And so I put that on my vision board as one of my big goals. And it was more of a, it wasn't the ones I was completely working on, but it was just over to the side. And I started I used the to-do list. I put a little post-it note on my vision board for little items that lead towards my goals.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know how it was going to happen. So the first one I put was, figure out exactly how I want this truck to be. And so I found myself like just imagining it, and I started to find all the specs and all the little ways that I wanted it to work. And this works with anything, but it just happened to be a truck at the time. And I just started to get really in depth of what exactly I wanted. The color, the way that the tires, it was going to be an automatic. I needed it to be able to pull a certain amount of weight, because I was like, well, if I could do this, I might as well get a trailer in the future. And there's all these things that went into it. And I added each thing to the post-it notes. I was like, okay, figure out what kind of suspension I want, figure out how much I want it to be able to pull. And then I had all these post-it notes start to come off. And then one day I was driving down the street. I lived in Price, Utah at the time, which is a huge city of 8,000 people max, probably.
Nice. Yeah.
No, it's a small city.
Mhm.
And driving down the street, and I see my truck sitting in the lot for sale at the car dealership. Like, it's my truck, the one I've been picturing.
Wow.
And it's really weird, but it was exactly what I wanted. And it was in a smaller town, and so they had different pricing and stuff there too, because they have small town pricing. So I went to the dealership and I was like, hey, I need to take that truck for a test drive. Like, that's my truck.
It's on my vision board.
It's there. I was like, I don't know if I can afford it. And I was like, how much is it? And they told me the price. I was like, that fits my budget. It was like half of what it should have been. And it was just this weird situation where I end up with my dream truck.
Wow.
And that's just one example, but it's just amazing how visualizing it and figuring out exactly what you want kind of brings it towards you. And it makes it so that when you find it, you realize that it's there. Because in the past, I could have driven past it and not even realized that it was there. I would
Yeah.
have never known, never noticed.
That's
But I had it so fresh in my mind. I visualized it every day, twice a day, that when I saw it sitting in the lot, my peripheral vision caught it, and I was able to just go get it. And so that's one example.
That. That's so cool, Alexander. And I do want to come back to more of what you've said. Why it worked out that way is so interesting to me. But I do also want to welcome Mary. Mary has hers on her screen on mute. And I'm not 100% sure if this is the Mary that I think it is, but I have a friend named Merry Christmas, and I love her name. There's not another person in the world that has a cooler name than Mary. But she has it on mute, so I don't know if that's her, but she wanted to share. I asked her if she would share some of her stories as well. But she's right now might just want to listen, and that's just fine. But I have what I wanted to talk about. I love that story. That is so cool, because what I was thinking as you were saying it is, usually if we don't have these vision boards, we just have this wish in our mind. And if you would have not had that focus of what it looks like, and even the accessories, what the color is, or how it's going to work out and fit into your life, you would have passed by that truck in Price and thought, well, that's a cool truck, maybe someday. And just this wish, maybe someday I'll get to have that, but it's not going to be today. Sorry. But because you did that, it made it work. Anyway, so I wanted to tell you, oh gosh, with all my talking, and I hope I get through without coughing too much. Oh, hold on a second. I'm so sorry. Mary's having problems being unmuted for some reason. It could be on my end. Sorry. Mary, down on the bottom of your screen, you might be able to unmute yourself even though it is showing mute. Sorry, gosh. I was hoping this was not going to help.
Lots of water.
Yeah, that's what I need. And my daughter's giving me some Mucinex. I don't know if that works. That'd make it worse. Anyway, I'm hoping to get through this without, oh, there's someone else to join this. Angie's going to join us. You guys might have to take over on this conversation if I need to put myself on mute, but for now, I'll just keep on going. And then Angie, are you able to unmute? Mary is having problems, and I don't know if it's my end or if it's on no, because Alexander could. Alexander, how did you unmute yourself? Because when you came in, you were muted.
On the bottom left side of the screen on the mute button.
Okay. Okay.
Unmuted, so.
Okay. So I am not sure what's happening.
Might need to rejoin. I noticed that Angie just connected to audio.
Yeah. So
She left again.
yeah. So it could be an issue, a glitch in my system, and I'm sorry. I want Mary to share her story. So let's see if it works now for Angie. Sorry for technical difficulties and choking difficulties.
I can help you.
No,
I can help
no, hon, I know, sweetie. I just have, oh, there we go. Okay, Angie. Okay. Yay. So Angie's able to take off her mute. Okay, so Mary, down the bottom of your screen. Angie, is that how you were able to take off your mute? Just the regular way? The normal way?
I just connected to the audio.
Okay.
When it
Wait, I just wondered if it was, because when I set it up, I made sure that the participants would not be muted when you come on, but that's what has been happening. So it could be in my, anyway, that's okay.
Yeah,
So,
as long as you, select, it gave me an option to select to join the audio.
okay, very good. All right. So we have just talked just a little bit. Alexander shared a story with us about a truck that he really wanted that was on his vision board and that it came to be.
Wow.
And I was just warning everyone, I might need to put my thing on mute and get this coughing under control. And maybe you guys will have to take over a little. But Angie, if you have a story, do you have, I imagine you probably have some too that you like. I have 3 that I could share of the situations that were incredible too, that were interesting to me and how they turned out. And then I want to talk about how this all works. But let me put it on mute for just a second. And if you want to share, Angie, you feel free. I'm going to do that for just a second. Get my coughing under control.
Yeah, well, one of my favorite ones, I wanted a fire pit for our family. And I wanted a portable fire pit, I said, and I just had the idea. I thought, well, I'm just going to put free. And so I put it on my vision board, fire pit free. And I kind of forgot about that it was on there because it had been on there for like a month. And a man came to do some work for us, a trade that we were doing. And he just out of the blue said, hey, can I go look in your backyard? And I said, sure. So he went in the backyard and he goes, would you like a fire pit? And I was like, yeah. But at that moment, I forgot that I had it on my vision board. But I was like, yeah, my kids would really like that. Because that's how I'd envisioned it on my vision board. Like my kids having their friends over and like roasting marshmallows and hot dogs and stuff. And so I was like, yeah, that's great. And so he said he would make me one as part of the trade. And that night I was brushing my teeth and I looked up at my vision board and it said fire pit free. And I was like, oh my gosh, like how did he even have thought of that or thought to go in my backyard or even, but it's when you're so clear about your goal and exactly what you want and why you want it, you're just sending out these signals and other people just pick it up like subconsciously. It's really amazing. And I've had some happen with Alexander too.
You've had what?
I had some vision board experiences happen with Alexander too.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
You can share. You can share what you want. I would love to hear stories if you want to. But I mean,
Well, um, yeah, there's a couple, but one of them was kind of the same thing. I wanted a amplifier for my son's Christmas gift because we had spent his budget on the actual electric guitar. And I thought, oh, I don't want to spend more money, but I want him to have a practice amp to use. And so I put that on because I had had that prior experience with the fire pits. I'm like, okay, amp, an amplifier for free. And so I just started thinking, okay, what's an action step I can do toward that goal? And I started emailing all my friends and family and my mentoring group. And I said, hey, does anyone have an amplifier that I could have for my son? And so I just thought, I don't know if anything will come of it, but I just need to take an action step forward. And then Alexander, he lives in Las Vegas, but he came up to visit his family near where I am. And he's like, oh, I think I have one in my storage unit. And so he went and he found it and it was perfect. And I was just like, that is so awesome. So just things like that. I love it.
that, I actually want to talk and welcome Tony's on here too. And Tony also did a video that we posted on the Thriving Singles community. And so yeah, take a look at all of these videos on there and what their recommendations are and how it works. Everyone who does vision boards are inspired that because of their experiences. It's not just, I know in the past, I used to think of it like in Young Women's or whatever, just a poster board with your wishes. And yeah, and Alexander mentioned at the beginning, it doesn't happen that way. It's not just, these are things that I wish for. It's things that you visualize and you cause to come to pass. And Mary, my friend Mary, has some incredible stories as well. I want to first, and if you have to go, if you have just a short limited time, okay, I would let you share before I dive into this, but and I want more stories. That's my favorite part about doing this, is the stories that come from it, the testimonials, if you will, of how it all works. And then we'll talk about Tony and Alexander, you guys can help us with the step-by-step. I mean, you did that in your video, but it will just be a quick summary rundown of how you have to make it work for yourself. Let me tell you this first, and then I'll ask Mary if you want to share. That would be awesome. And then we'll just summarize. So this is something that there's another video on our page. I just did that this week because we're focusing on vision boards this week, visualizing and how incredible that is. We can stay stuck in where we are in our life forever and just always feel like not necessarily victim. In some cases maybe we feel like that, but just that our life, the circumstances in our lives are outside of our control, but we don't have to be there. We don't have to stay there. So this is what Daryl said in his video, which I thought was incredible, and it explains how all of this works. I just took some notes from it. He said, let's see, he says, we give our minds a new reality that we want it to create. In his recommendations, he talks about end stories, and that's something that I do with my vision board. Is I have these pictures, and then I if you guys can admit people. I don't know if you can. I can't see. Someone might be trying to come in and I'm not seeing them. Let's see. If anyone can help people join, that's fine. I need to disable the waiting room. People can just pop in. Maybe that will work. We'll keep trying. Okay. Sorry for that little pause. Okay, so he says it's synchronicities. He says as your mind is picturing what you want, it kicks into motion naturally in a myriad of different methods to bring things into synchronization. What you see in your mind in comparison to the physical realm of what actually is. That really true. That's just like the sum of that. Just summarizes exactly the law of attraction, I call it law of faith. I'm definitely faith-based in all of my explanations of these things, that it's our faith that causes things to happen. And he says, the bridge between where we are and where we want to be is made up of actions and emotions. So all of our thoughts and the stories that we tell and our the ideas, the thoughts, we basically just the thoughts we have all are connected with emotions, and emotions cause us to act. And so it's our stories that actually really, in the end, if you summarize it all, that's the stories that we create that bring the results. So if in our vision board, we have these stories, or Alexander in his recommendation talks about having, you call it the goal, right? The ultimate goal. Is that what you would say? Like the index card you put next to the image is, would you call that like a summary of the story, or is it? Anyway, you can say it in your own words. What do you describe that on the index card right next to your picture?
Right next to the goal.
Yeah, on the right
So I
side.
have a goal in the middle of on the right side, I have the reward.
Oh, the reward.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes. Okay, that's right. So, so the picture is the end result. The picture is what you want it to be. Right. That.
Yeah,
So,
on the middle, I have a picture with the description, and
okay.
that's the goal, what I want the result to be.
Okay.
To the right, I have another picture with the description of what the reward I'm going to give myself is going to be once I accomplish that.
Okay. So I see that. I see the reward as the picture coming to be. But I loved that you gave that reward too, because there's little bite sizes too that you also suggested on the sticky note. Bite sizes of goals that help you to reach it too. Anyway, so I love that as well. So does anyone in your vision boards, is this just something that I have done that doesn't really make sense to anyone else, that has like a story attached to your image? Do you guys do that as well, like an end story?
Absolutely. I honestly think that's one of the most important things, is to attach that story, that after story of what it's going to be like when you achieve this and you get this and you actually earn it, because then it gives you more motivation and power to keep going when it gets tough. Because when you're working on a goal and it just seems forever out there and you're just like, oh, I'm never going to get it. Well, with that thought process, you're never going to get it.
Yeah.
But when you have you define the story of what it's going to be like and what it's going to feel like, and really bring that emotion all together, then it's already yours. It's just a matter of time. It's already yours.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's what the description that I do under the photo is, under the
Okay.
image.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, that you're, so the image for sure is the story, and then you give a little description, which just it expands it more.
Kind of what he was saying. It's a description as if it already happened,
Okay.
how
Yeah.
it's going to come to pass.
That's so good.
This is what I use when I'm just training my clients on vision boards. How I like to set it up and everything according to how our brain works the best. But so what I do, I always have them define clearly their what. And for me, I found that they get really stuck on making that really clear. And the way I do it is a what needs to be check offable. So you know you received it, because a lot of times we'll put like, I want to be healthier, or I want like something that you don't know when you achieved it. So you don't actually get it off your board. But for me, this is like, we get it off our board, we put it in our vision board success binder, and then we put a new goal on there. So we do the what, clearly defined, and then why on their board. And then on a separate notebook, they do their detailed after stories of actualizing it in their mind, and visualizing it as though they have already achieved that goal. And that to me is like, that's the secret, is the what, the why, and the after story is like
so good. So Mary, do you want to share a story, and welcome Stacy? Sure. Like, you're in here too. Thank you. And you're welcome to unmute, or you can keep yourself muted. But if you have any stories, that vision board stories that you want to share, we would love to hear those stories.
Yeah. Do you want me to do it right now?
Please, I would love it. Yes.
Okay, so I have two stories. One was about summoning basically Mary Poppins like from another state. I learned, and then the other one is about a roof. I've got problems, okay? And I've been really stuck in my mindset and all these things, and I found actually through Sherry, she set me up with Kirk Duncan, and then I started to learn about positive affirmations and vision boards and things like that. And so I got into it for like 3 months, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to put on my vision board. I'm just this very unorganized person that lives in chaos. And one of the things was like, I have a clean, organized home, and, that I put on my vision board. And like 2 weeks later, some lady shows up at church in my ward, and she's like, I just really had this feeling that I was supposed to be in your ward. And she's like from the South, like Virginia or something. And she's like, and, I'm looking for a place to stay, and I'm a personal organizer. So, something like that. And I remember being like, whoa, that would be so nice if she would help me, but I can't pay her, and she's not going to want to live at my house because I have these horrible dogs that are terrible anyway. And so I was just thinking, my heart was kind of not even open to the idea because I felt like there was no hope. So I wasn't even doing the vision board correctly. And eventually it did help me. It came to me, and that's what I'm going to tell you. But I want to make that little note that I did it works better when you're even more open. So eventually, after she'd been here for a year, I was talking to her and about some of my issues and problems, and she volunteered to come and help me for free. And I'm like, I don't know how that would work. And she's like, oh, I'm sure, like she was just her heart was just there. Like she wanted to do it. And she ended up spending like 70 hours at my house helping me. And it actually helped train my dogs too, because they were around her so long that they got used to her because they're so terrible. But anyway, after that, so I did this brief thing for like 3 months where I was like all hopeful and all positive affirmation and vision board. And then I kind of gave up on it. And then after this thing happened, it blew my mind. And I was like, that vision board worked. That worked. Like I'm a believer, even though I kind of gave up for a minute because I was just so negative and I couldn't keep my mindset positive. It still worked. That lady came 2 weeks after I started the vision board. Like, I don't know how, but I'm like faithful and I believe in God. And, there's something, you don't even have to believe in God for this stuff to work for you though, because your mind is just open and something happens, the universe, whatever, brings stuff to you. And then she ended up telling me how she even thought to come to our place, like to move here and find our ward, our church area, and the process. And I was just seriously imagining Mary Poppins, like, because it was like, what, and she has since left. And I'm like, did she come for me? Like, I have another story, but I don't want to take up too much time. I'll make it fast if you want, or we can stop.
Please. I would love it. Yes.
Okay, I'll be super fast. Okay, so after that, I became a believer, and I was just even more doing my vision board better. And my house just needs a lot of repair. And so I just even did like a little structure of like a little roof cut with paper, just shaped like a triangle upside down, if I'm making sense. I put that on there, and I just did a couple other things. And I don't know, a few months go by and some guy knocks on my door. He's a roofer, and he says, I can tell there's some damage on your roof. It looks like it's from the wind, and you could probably have insurance pay for that. He's like, I can sit right here with you and call your insurance with you, and we can find out. So there's kind of the hang up or glitch is that my husband is completely so against anyone knocking on our door. He just has issues with no soliciting and ignoring that sign and all this stuff. And so I'm just kind of in the mindset or the habit of being like, oh, sorry, that sounds great, but no thanks. But because my heart was so open and reaching, like trying to invite anything possible to help with this roof, right? I mean, we have leaks and things like that, and the ceiling, you know, like we needed a new roof so badly. And I'm like, well, he's not home right now. Maybe I'll just call the insurance and see if this is legit. Cause it's, you know, like I felt like I needed to give it a chance. And because it was on my board, because it was in my mind and heart and everything, I was open to receiving. Whereas if I wasn't, so there was two miracles. Like one is that the guy came to my door and he had a feeling about him that wasn't salesman-like. I could feel, you know. And the other was that I was open and that I didn't chase him away, and that I actually like tested it and went a little deeper to try and get it. And I would not have done that if it wasn't on my vision board, and if it wasn't something that I was trying to basically summon to happen.
Wow.
Like I wouldn't have been so open and allowed it. And it did. It totally worked beautifully. And insurance did pay for my roof, and I got it. And I was just like, oh, these vision boards. I'm like, it worked even when I didn't really necessarily do it right or have the right mindset. And then when I did have the right mindset, oh, I'm just like, and there's still so many things that I want and need. And it's not like I can just snap my fingers, you know, like it almost sounds that way, but I can't. But I cannot deny what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like what happened was so powerful and definitely connected, you know, that I know that it works, and I'll always have one. So that's the end.
I love it. Oh, and Sharon popped on too. So Sharon,
Amazing.
hello, Sharon. Yeah, I'm glad you're able
It's all such good stuff.
to. And do you have anything you want to share too? We love story. Oh, you have yours behind your.
I do. I have mine behind me. My dogs just started barking. I have no idea what's going on downstairs.
Okay.
And I'm cleaning today, so I'm all grubby. But I didn't catch the first like 10 minutes. Something I do on mine, I just kind of wanted to share.
Yeah.
At the new year, I always pick a word for the year.
Oh, I do
So
too.
like in 2020, I picked the word go, like go forward with my business, right? And it was on my vision board. And then the pandemic hit and I'm like,
Ah,
we can't go. We can't go. Like, this is so frustrating because people seriously just weren't dating. And, you know, how does the dating coach work when people aren't dating? And, you know, and so I was super discouraged, but I realized like in August, somebody reached out from this LDS Singles 31 Plus group and wanted me to start doing classes, which opened up a ton of opportunities. So
Wow.
Go actually worked during a pandemic. So I was just going to show you, I have the word faith for this year on mine. I always put my word of the year on there.
That's good.
I think that's an important thing to focus on,
Yeah.
even if you don't think it's going to happen.
I love that intention for the year. I do that as well. That's a good idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to add mine to my board. Intention for the year, because it would go along with all of our goals, probably, very likely. So do you guys all have goals on your board that stay on there for a while, or do you only
Can I add something to the yearly goals real quick?
Please, yes. Stacey.
I'm Stacy. I on the New Year's goals, what I always do is I have one in every section. Like one for spiritual, one for mental, one for, you know, emotional. And I have a goal for not necessarily the year. I've had years where I had the same, you know, the same goal because I still didn't complete it. But I have a bunch of different sections, and I just try to make a goal, and then I try to put it into, I think someone used the word bite size. I put it into reasonable things. Like if it's to be healthier, you know, it's not necessarily something that, like, it's not necessarily lose so much weight or whatever. It's more make sure I'm getting to the gym and walking or doing whatever 3 times a week. And then I take whatever those yearly goals are, and I have weekly. I used to do daily, but it was just too much rewriting. It was kind of wasted. I do weekly results, and so drink 8 bottles, or the 8 cups of water, and walk 3 times a week, and make sure I'm getting a couple of loads of laundry done, because if not, I'll drown in laundry. And so I have the 10 result goals that are kind of goals for the week, but they have bite-sized little chunks there, and I can go through and check those off as I do them. And that results list, and it's just something that I print. I made it myself on Words, and it's just something that I print, and then I just do it, because I'm an action person. So, but that's what I go through and do. But they all correspond with my yearly goals. And I say yearly. Sometimes I feel like I've completed most of them by September or whatever. And so I don't wait until January to start putting what the next part is to that goal. I've never actually done a vision board. This has all just been kind of in my mind and on my list. So I'm going to try the vision board thing and see if it makes it more clear. Yeah. But that's what I do. And so sometimes I revamp my, New Year's goals in September or whatever. And then, like I said, some of them I've been working on launching part of my business now for 2 years. So that one goal has just rolled year to year, because I'm not there yet. But my bite-sized goals on what I want to accomplish on that, those do get chunked off.
Oh, that's good. The more specific you are, I think, Stacy, is the key. So that's why
specific is the key.
Yeah, I love that you do it that way. And Alexander suggests that as well, similar to what you're talking about, in that he has on his board. You guys have to watch his video if you haven't seen it yet, but he has the image that you're wanting to focus on with the description. On the left side of that image, he puts a sticky note of that small specific goal that your next step, your next item step. And I'm curious too, Alexander, I'm only assuming this. I don't know if you're still on here, because I only see 6. Okay, there you go. Good. I am going to assume that it is just inspiration. You just follow the inspiration of what your next step should be, whether that is just something that you've learned from, a course or something you've taken, or from someone else, or anyway, inspiration, that the thought comes to you of what the next step should be.
It's a little bit of inspiration and a lot of bit of where I'm stuck.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I don't even know where to start, I will put the first question that comes to mind.
Oh.
That's and that's why I say a little bit of inspiration, because it's whatever that question is. If I have no clue how to get to where I want to be, then I will put the first question that I have, like figure out what this means, or figure out how to do this.
Love that.
And that'll be the first little step. And then once I figure that out, then the rest of them kind of follow a lot easier.
Cool.
So I can tell you, I love the fact that you do the sticky notes, because they're replaceable as you chunk stuff off. That was when I was watching your video earlier. I was like, oh, that's a good idea, because then you're not rewriting stuff or redoing it. The other thing about like what to do next, sometimes what I've learned over the past couple of years is we don't know what we don't know. And sometimes you're not going to know what the next step is until you complete the one step that you're doing. And then you realize, oh, this I didn't even know I had to do. And to give you an example, like the app that I'm doing, I was like, I need to test. And then after testing is marketing. Well, what I didn't realize is there was a step in there that I didn't even know about, because I've never done this. It's new. Yeah. And if it weren't new, I wouldn't need the vision board. Like, you know what I mean? Like I need it to keep me on track. But there was that whole step that I didn't even know about until I got to that point and realized it. And so I think having the sticky note and being flexible and being malleable to from whatever the spirit's telling you, or from whatever the next thing that you learn is telling you. I think that is so key.
That is good. Now, Alexander, I'm going to do that too on mine. I'm going to start doing that. And I love that you also advise or suggest keeping it in that binder. I have my binder and I have the page protectors, and I have I'll put in the goals as I take them off of my vision board on one side, like you suggested, and then on the left side you have all your sticky notes. I also see the value in that you may come across another future goal and that's similar in size or complexity, and you can go back to that and see all the steps that you took to get there. So I think that's so valuable. Anyway, Alexander, I think it's brilliant that you do that.
Thank you. Another note on that, you were kind of asking about timing before.
Oh yeah.
My post-it notes are usually not more than 2 to 3 days max.
Oh, okay.
And it's that small of a step. Even if it's a huge goal, they're like 2 to 3 day goals. And sometimes they're 1 day, but usually a 2 to 3 goal for the post-it note. One item that I put on there will be like a 2 to 3 week goal. I'll put like a 2 to 3 month goal, and then like a 1 year plus goal. And I stick to 3 at a time. Some people like to do more, but
Not me,
that's
yeah.
how as far as structure goes, how long it takes is usually 2 to 3 day, 2 to 3 week, 2 to 3 month, and then 1 year plus.
Okay, so you usually have 3 goals. Does anyone else, Angie, I think I heard you at some point saying you do all 9 areas. Is that right? That are advised?
I have 9 on my board, and so they're different goals. Like some are kind of out further, some are more immediate that I'm working on, but I like having it still in my mind, even though I'm not focusing on it right then. I just still have it in my mind that that's something I want. And like my example of the fire pit, I wasn't even working on that goal. I did nothing actively for that goal, but just defining it, my what and my why, and having it on the board, like so that I was seeing it, my subconscious, it attracted it to me. So I think it's valuable even to have goals that you're not like actively working on, but you want.
Okay, that's what I was curious about, because Alexander brought up something I shared. I share the same thing. I don't want to get too overwhelmed with all that I'm trying to accomplish, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming if it's just there, if it's just on your board.
I pretty much have 9 goals.
Oh, you do?
Well,
Oh, okay.
If you look at it, no, there's 3 in the middle.
Okay.
There's 3 rewards that are also goals.
Oh,
And then there's 3 smaller goals that are leading towards my main goals. And so it really is 9 goals that's on my board. I just connected into 3 groups, basically.
Gotcha. That's good. And we can post the example that 3 key elements advises. I have it. And actually I do have it posted, that the 9 different areas that they suggest, and to not do more than that. I did like that. I've never met the advice of 9 goals. I've never wanted to do that many. I think the most I've done is maybe 3 or 4. But yeah, anyway.
It just depends on the person. Like some people that's totally overwhelming for. And, so 3 to 5 goals, I think is good for most people, like to start with for sure.
Yeah, that's good. Caitlin, I need to keep my phone. So before we end, we have about 15 minutes. If we stick with an hour, we don't have to. If we're still engaged in the conversation, we can keep going. But I did want to, I took some notes from Tony's and Alexander's videos, and came up with the list. And so either of you, if you have any suggestions, to jump in and tell me maybe why you do what you do on these steps, if something sticks out to you, or if you would advise a different way. And Angie, any of you guys, if you have any suggestions, because everyone, as you've seen from this conversation, has valuable insights, and some things work for, some things may work for you, and you may take something else from another person, but it's all valuable. So let's see. So in our vision board, it's all images that mean something to you. I think that's what Alexander said, is it has to be something that will motivate you to be you can motivate you to be the kind of person you want to be. I remember Tony saying stuff like this. Feel what you want to feel. I on my vision board one time, I put peace. I wanted to feel peace. And this was, I don't know if I should share that story, but it was at the end of my marriage where my home was not in that state. And I wanted a marriage of peace. I wanted our home to be full peace. It turned out I have and I feel peace, but it didn't end up being what I thought it would be. It didn't end up being in my marriage or in my home that I was expecting it to be. But I definitely, peace was a bigger goal for me than anything else at that time. So that's another thing you can put in there, what you want to feel. The type of people you want to have in your life. Ideal partner. How is your relationship going to be? I want to let Tony interject on this piece, because I did that and I thought that was valuable to kind of envision this relationship. But Tony suggested being specific about the person that you are hoping for to fill in that spot. I have felt that not to be as important, only because I can't visualize what he's like. I don't know what, because there's so many caveats to how people are. So Tony, if you want to explain that, why do you think, what was your advice was to be specific about the type of person that you want to marry? Why do you suggest that?
Well, a big part of the reasoning behind that is because a lot of times people, they just say, I want a great guy, or I want a great girl, or I just want somebody who's smart, or that is so vague, and it is so hard to determine. I mean, like, I consider I'm very smart in some areas, but if you were to ask me about vehicles, I'm as dumb as a box of rocks. I mean, I have no desire, no passion, no anything for vehicles.
Yeah.
I know how to work on them just enough to ruin them and so it's important to define
Specific.
what it is, the specifics. And so you start answering. I think it was Stacy that said, you don't know what you don't know. So you want to put out there what you do know. And so, for instance, if I'm looking for a spouse, a lady, I'm already married. So if I'm looking for somebody to marry.
If you're advising someone, there you go.
Yeah, I'm advising, there we go. I'm advising somebody to marry, and let's say it's a man looking for a woman. I would, first question I'd say is, so what is she like? And immediately they go to physical. It's like, well, she's really nice body, it's a very physical thing.
Yeah.
I say, okay, now that we're past that, what is she like emotionally? Is she somebody who's motivated and happy and excited, or is she somebody that's a little more reserved, or is she carry her feelings on her shirt sleeves? Is she able to communicate? Well, when you start asking those questions, like, oh no, yeah, she definitely can communicate. Oh, and she can do this and she can do that. And they start to define the person that they're wanting to attract.
Yeah.
And then as you define the person you want to attract, then you have to evaluate also, are you being that type of person that will attract that person?
Yeah.
And so it is important to really know the individual you want to marry or you want to have a long-term relationship with, because if you don't know, then you're dating here, you're dating there, and you come there to that situation, you're like, well, I like that, well, didn't really like that, and then you're going through what my wife and I, we encourage all of our children, we say, do the Baskin Robbins. You date 31 people. Before you ever consider a marriage, you date 31 people, because then you'll have a good idea of characteristics you like and you don't like.
Yeah.
Well, if you have, especially in your circumstance, you've been married, you've had relationships in the past and stuff like that, things that you definitely don't like, things that you do like. Well, if you're going to create an avatar of that person, then that's going to help to attract that person.
Makes sense.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, intimately, you'll be able to connect more on that level. But if you don't know, then you keep dating all the frogs to find the prince.
Yeah, it's true. I totally get that. I kind of chuckle because it makes me think of someone that calls that casting a spell. You're casting a spell on him. And then he's like, oh, I'm attracted to her. I don't know if that's how it works, but anyway, it's the whole vision board thing. Visualize.
Yeah, it really does come down to, it's essentially a vision board of the person you want to marry.
I love it, Tony. I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna want help too. So here, for me, I have, and this is just a side note, but I have told all my family and closest friends that the next person that I marry will be someone that they line me up with. Because I don't trust myself. So I'll take lineups, I'll do blind dates, I'll do double dates, I'll let you guys decide for me, and then I'll just approve or disapprove. But
so well, here you just said something that's very important to acknowledge, is you said, I don't trust myself.
yes, and so I gotta trust myself. I gotta change my language.
You got to change your language, but then you have to say, the person you're wanting, do you want them to be able to trust themselves that they will be able to find you?
Yeah.
Do you want to be able to trust yourself that when somebody else hooks you up with them and say, hey, go on a date with this person, you still have to determine if this relationship's going to work or not.
Yeah.
And so if you don't trust yourself, you're immediately putting up a wall, a barrier that is not something that you want, because you're always saying, I don't trust myself. So then you're relying on other people. So if you define exactly who you want, what this person's like, even down to the job and all of that, I mean, just get as detailed and specific, because just because you get detailed and specific doesn't mean that that's going to be everything there. But the more detailed and specific you have, you can then identify with the characteristics and the traits when you see them.
Yeah.
If you don't, then you're not going to recognize them. And then you're going to fall back to your default is, I don't trust myself.
Yes, I love that. And that goes along with what we talked a little bit about, how our emotions are attached to our messages and our stories and our thoughts. And so if that emotion of probably hesitancy, for me, I want to hesitate because of that thought that I don't know, I can't trust myself. So that's good. That's a good thing to change. I'm going to start changing that. So our, the stories, and that's how it all works. Our stories don't attract to us what we want. It's not that it's attracting it to us. It's that they attract the emotions that are attached to them. That's
and it also changes your vibration.
Yes, energy.
It changes the energy that you are admitting. I mean, I think of that. I can't remember the movie right now, but it was all along the lines of, okay, if you want to remove that sign that says "Get Lost" off your forehead, then we can talk.
Yeah,
it's kind of that same thing. Is if I'm like, I don't trust myself to even know if you're a good guy or not. It's almost the same thing. It's like,
so true.
So this relationship's over before it's even started, because I don't trust myself to even go forward with it.
So look, you just solved a major problem for me. Thank you for that.
It makes me think of the no soliciting sign, because that was the autopilot was get lost, no way, whoever you are, it doesn't matter, go away. but because I had defined, like, I need a roof so bad, please help me somehow, you know, and then it
She
gave me
knew what she
pause.
wanted.
No soliciting. Yeah. But if
I
she
love
gets
what you
that,
said,
yeah.
Tony, about how you're preparing yourself when you're defining this person. It's not like your final draft. They have to have all these things. But what it is it's helping you to recognize when you meet them. Because what if you meet them, but you haven't defined it yet? And so they just walk past you. Like you're opening yourself up to receiving what you want by defining what you want. And if they're not exactly what you describe, then I think you'll still recognize enough of what you want in the person, you know, like
Exactly.
I liked it.
Well, it's the same. It's exactly like the analogy you use, or the story you use with the roof.
Mm.
You defined what you wanted, but then here's this opportunity. And even though it was contrary to what you normally would do, it felt right to go ahead and pursue this avenue.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
that, just imagine that roof as a man. You know, it felt okay to pursue this avenue, even though it might be a little different than what I was originally planning on. But hey, I'm going to be able to get this done. I'm going to be able to see this. I got this. Oh, and they can do that. And you start to see everything and how it's all going to work out versus, nope, I don't trust myself. There's no way I'm going to go down this, or close this door, close this barrier, close this, you know, put up a bigger sign so that they can see, get lost. You know,
I'm gonna
we
take down
remove
my
those signs.
I'm gonna remove that no soliciting sign right now. It's gone. I'm gonna let the solicitors come.
Another thing that another thing I think about is that how important it is to have a good relationship with your goal. So if your goal is marriage, but you see married couples and you feel negatively toward other people because, oh, they're married, but I'm not, and you feel jealous, or you don't feel happy and loving for them, you know, then you're blocking your goal.
Yeah.
Because you have to be on that same energetic level as your goal, which is a happy, healthy marriage. And so you have to practice when you see a friend getting married or a happy couple, instead of feeling jealousy, I just suggest like to praise and bless them, like, oh, I'm so happy for you that you have that, and feel those emotions as though you have it yourself, to get yourself in alignment with your goal. Because can I share just a quick story about this that
yes.
illustrates it so perfectly? So my sister-in-law, this was on her vision board, she had a house in Alabama that they were renting out, and they moved to Utah, and they wanted to sell this house in Alabama. So they put on their vision board a picture of their house in Alabama with a for sale sign. And so they're like, okay, we want this house to sell. Well, it took forever. It was not selling. And they started to just hate this house because it was sucking all of their money, because they had 2 mortgage payments and no renters. And they just were like detesting this house. Like, it's ruining our lives. I hate this house. And one day it dawned on her when she looked at her vision board, she said, oh my goodness. Well, number one, the picture was a house for sale. She said, I already have that goal. I need a house that's sold. So she changed the picture, put a sold sign, and then she realized, I have a totally negative energy connection with this house. And so she and her husband flipped it completely, and they started to remember, because they had redone this house. It was beautiful. And they remembered all the good memories they had in that house, and that they had prayer in that home, and God was in that home, and had good feelings in the spirit. And they said, she just started to remember that, and she started to think about all the blessings that a person who bought that home would have if they bought that home. And guess how fast it sold after they did that?
I'm sure really quick.
1 week.
1 week. Oh
Where before it was months and months. And so it's the same way with marriage. It's the same parallel. Like, we have to have that good, clean energy toward our goal. And everyone who has that goal, we have to be in alignment, like happy, and praise them that they have achieved that goal. If we want it for ourselves, we can't want something different for ourselves than what other people have if it's the
I
same.
like that. That has actually happened for me naturally, because I don't know that I would say I was in a resentful place, but there was definitely some kind of barrier for me in that I would not have thought to turn to these happy couples for advice or encouragement or anything like that. But when I had this on my vision board of this, the description of what I want my relationship to be like, I have attracted in my life those types of couples in my ward. They are people that I look up to, that I am close to, and that I learn from. I ask them questions and I learn from them. And it has in my mind, it has helped to clarify my vision of the healthy relationship that's mutually respectful. And so it is, I love having, it's a huge blessing to have them in my life. And I think I do believe that it comes from my initial vision of wanting to have this type of a relationship, and not in a, like you said, a jealous way, but in a way that I want to have what you have. How do you get there?
Exactly. That's awesome. That's the kind of energy that will attract it to you.
Yeah.
Well, and that helps you to define what it is you want.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
exactly.
I mean, if you see a couple that has the type of connection that you want in your own relationship, then you can say, okay, what is it? Okay, how did you get here? What's he like? What is she doing? You start to be able to create a blueprint that you can kind of follow.
Yeah.
I call it the arigato principle is what what Angie was talking about, is being grateful for everything. When you spend money, say arigato, thank you for this money, that you're able to bless the lives of somebody else now. When you receive money, thank you, so that I can bless the lives of other people, and it's always this gratitude basis, but it still comes back to defining what it is you want. And if you are putting out this negative energy towards a couple that is exactly what you want, then you are essentially repelling and training your brain and everything about you in your emotional state that I do not want this, when that's exactly the opposite of what you do want.
Yeah. And here's another tip. I think there's only, I don't know, Stacy, if you're single. I think Sharon and I are the only ones single, unless you are, Stacy. A little tip for the single ladies. These are the kind of people that know the kind of men that you want to hook up with. So
I'm single.
Sorry.
For 23 years, but I'm single.
Okay, so make good friends with the people that you admire, and they will hook you up with their brother or their cousin.
They're all married.
Oh shoot. But someone.
I've got a nephew who's 30, so
I know.
Too young. I'm like 46.
Hey, after you get past 18, this is a number.
Well, and you might be into cougars. You never know.
Yeah, and that's the other problem. Like, I'm like, the Mormon population in Kentucky is so low, and I'm self-employed, and I'm here, and I'll be here for at least 10 more years. While my kids, grow up, and before everyone's like at least gone on a mission, it'll be like 9 more years. So I'm in Kentucky, and just the Mormon population here is just very, very low. And I mean, I've dated non-members, but their standards just aren't there.
Oh, yeah.
So have you, just Stacy, have you defined that as part of this person you're looking for is somebody who's willing to actually come to you?
Well,
yeah, but Mormon men tend to want to stay close to where they already live with their jobs. And they have enough. I hate to say this, there's many, many more women in the church than men. And so they have enough options that will move to them and live off of them. It's not an issue. They don't have to really look at relocating.
But the thing is by shifting that mentality like that, then somebody that may be the perfect man for you gets this desire to move to Kentucky. He doesn't know why,
He says, I don't know why. Yeah.
but he just goes and he moves there.
Possibly. You
And-
can send them to Lexington, you know.
So
You can summon Mary
and I-
Poppins.
I mean, it's exactly the Mary
Just like
story
Mary's
that was shared
example,
earlier.
yeah.
I can
It-
tell you,
it's-
I only have so many hours a week to look out at all of, and there's just so many catfish and there's so many other issues without online. And, you know, I'm a single mom with 3 kids and 2 businesses. So, you know, I don't want to say I have time to date and I can add someone to my life, obviously, but the looking part is really hard because
Yeah,
it can
well-
just, it's time consuming. It's very time consuming.
That's why Tony suggested to call them to knocking on your door and take down
Yeah.
your soliciting signs
Let-
like I've just done.
Let me give you an example. I met my wife, and I had been going to all kinds of different places and everything. I met my wife. I walked into church literally, and she said, "Hi, my name's Renee Sykes. Nice to meet you."
Yeah.
First time I met
Where
her.
do you live?
You talk?
and as soon, and the thing that was interesting is we didn't even date for a month after that first meeting. But then one night I'm sitting there thinking, I got home early and I'm like, I'm young, I should be out, I should be going and doing things. I mean, it's like only midnight. What am I thinking being home? And
Yeah.
I got this impression to call her, and I called her. And I said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Well, nothing." And I said, "Okay, you want to go out? I'll pick you up in 5 minutes." What girl do you know is ready
Yeah.
to go in 5 minutes? You know,
And
but she was. And
material.
she had just gotten through a relationship where she was like, I'm done with guys. They're a bunch of pigs, and, you know, and all that. And I just gotten through with a relationship that I was like, I'm done with women. You know, if they can't accept me for who I am, forget it. And that was our first date. It was a month later after initially meeting. So literally it just happened because I was at church.
Oh.
Well, I can tell you that the only people, and I'm a real estate agent, so I see all of the new people coming in and out. The only people that really move to Kentucky are students, which are too young, and married couples. It's just kind of what I get. I mean, I've been the only member in my family, and I don't even remember the last time a single guy moved here. It just doesn't happen.
Time to wish
It's
upon the
not-
stars.
That's all I was gonna say there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your vision board right there. You moved into your
If that ends up happening, that's great. But I think I've been single now for 6 years.
Yeah, and you start
It'll
thinking
be
about that.
10 years. It'll be before I can move to somebody.
Yeah.
I knew when I was getting a divorce that it was going to be an extended time frame before I met someone again.
Well,
So,
Stacey,
So I
So I
guess.
thought too.
you might not realize that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dating coaches
Yeah.
on here that want to say, if you have the desire, we can show you how. I wouldn't
Well,
call it a dating coach, but
Like, I mean, I'm out on the dating sites. I'm out on the
Yeah.
LDS dating sites. It just doesn't happen. And that's fine because a lot of them do live out west and they want to stay out west. They want to stay close to family. They want to, they don't want to uproot their kids or their job. I get that, It's just we're looking at like less than a 1% Mormon population in Kentucky. So, it's just very reduced on the number of people. So
yeah.
Missionary work opportunity.
Exactly. I actually want to take this conversation offline. If you want to, Stacey, we can.
Yeah.
I have things to tell you
Sure.
about. But I want to tell you, I want to give a brief, I say brief, but that was a long explanation of what I started with. But I want to give a step-by-step. If everyone is ready to do their vision board, they can do step-by-step. You can take notes, you can watch these videos that I've posted, but I kind of put them all together. Very good. And then please, coaches, interject, or Mary, and if anyone has any interjections on how you do your vision board that you want to add, it's okay to have a list of 100 things to do, and people can pick out what works best for them. So first of all, Be specific, be very detailed and specific. Get a very clear picture of what you want, of the things that we've just listed. Where do you want to live? What material things do you want? What spiritual things, whatever. And be very clear. Collect a picture of what you want to imagine, so that it would describe exactly what it is that you are shooting for. I would add be prayerful, as where I'm also very prayerful about the goals that I pick. Organize your pictures on a cork board or poster board. Tony also suggested just get some painter's tape and make a box on your wall. It doesn't have to be anything, really expensive. I like it to look nice. In fact, I started mine. I don't mind doing a new one. And you can see this little decal in here. It's just a large piece of paper, and I'm decorating it. I like it to be pretty, but I don't want to spend more time
just anything that's going to focus the attention
on beauty and emotions, right? And I think Daryl would advise that is that the reason for these is to bring up the emotion that causes the action. That's how he defines it. So these pictures that you get, it can either be couples that you look up to, or a place that just something that brings up emotion for you, is how he advises. So does anyone have any advice about how to organize your pictures or anything like that? That's where I was. Organize them on the cork board or poster board. Go ahead.
Put them up, and then if it doesn't feel right, move them.
Oh, there you go.
There's no one right way. It's what works best for you and what connects with you. So you just put them up, and then looking at it, it's like, and then you just move them.
Yeah.
Do you guys do vision boards do you do them in each category, or just do you change it? Like, do you do one for work and one for, your house, and one for, your dating life or your marriage, or one for your kids? Do you do it like in categories like that?
Yeah, and she has a sample.
I don't, because what I think is the most important is your desire. So like if you have things, maybe you have things in all those categories, but you don't really desire that right now. Like what good is that? So to me, I just put on the things that I have the strongest desire for, because that's what I'm most motivated for at that time.
That's really good advice. You don't have to set goals in areas that you don't feel like you need to have goals in. I like that. And I maybe that's part of my hesitancy in some of my goal setting, is that I feel like you have to have them in all areas, and some areas I don't want to work on. So
sometimes you have a goal that you need to get, you need to do, but you don't want to, and the desire is missing.
Okay. So do you guys doing specific categories?
That's why I use the rewards as well, is to get myself to do things that I don't want to do, but I know need to happen for me to be where I need to be in life.
Yeah.
And so there are ways, if you do run into something where you really need to accomplish something, but you just don't want to do it, but it needs to happen so that you can get to the goal you actually want. There are ways to structure it in a way that helps lead you towards what you actually want and to get the hard things done.
And that's small pieces at once. Is that your structure, or do you have a different method?
No, I use the small pieces leading to that, but I have the reward afterwards, which is what I actually want. It's my real goal.
So maybe starting out, like if someone is just brand new to vision boards, I would suggest doing something that is really motivating naturally so that they can have more desire. But like what Alexander's saying, also, once you start to see how, I have success with my vision board and that was fun, then you can start to get into other goals that might be harder for you, but you've learned the goal setting processes and you've learned how to break it down like that. And so that's just different ways to look at it.
Yeah, that's good.
Go ahead. One of the biggest keys that Alexander is talking about is making sure you see movement on your board. If you don't see movement, you feel discouragement, you feel depressed, you feel anger, resentment, you start to hate the goals, you start to say, this doesn't work, this is a bunch of bull, and you just start to destroy the whole process. And it's because you're not seeing movement. And so if I have a Toyota Tacoma gray extended cab, that's on one of my on my list of visions that boards that I want to get. It's been up there for several years. And obviously Alexander, he had got his truck, so it must be a guy thing here. But I see it there. But if that was the only thing I saw and did, which was for a long time, I was like frustrated. It's like, oh, this stupid truck. And I was like, yeah, I remember taking it down and putting up a different picture and then getting rid of it completely. And then like, no, I want it, and putting it back up and then moving it around. I'm like, okay, yep. And really going through this emotional roller coaster because I wasn't seeing any movement. So once I started making small, achievable goals like what Alexander's talking about, and I started seeing movement, then it's a whole new game. It's like, oh wow, look at that. And then I was able to identify and make vague goals become more achievable, because it's like I can make a vague goal of I'm going to be healthy. Well, what does that mean? That doesn't mean squat. That's so vague. It's like, if I didn't eat that piece of candy, okay, that I was healthy. Is that what I'm looking for? No. If I want to be able to run a marathon, that's a total different level. And so it's really kind of defining what it is. And so if I have a vague goal, I want to be healthy, then I ask myself this question is, okay, how can I know that I'm achieving this goal? What are the steps, breaking it down into minuscule pieces? What are the steps that are going to help me to see that I'm achieving this goal of making healthy?
The movement energy. Oh no, I'm gonna start choking again. Okay, I wanna do this real quick before I gag. Right, and you're right. Any stories next to the relevant picture, but Angie, well, she just stepped up away for a second. But if you want to, I'll let you explain, because I have a question after I finish this. Study your board twice a day is what I've heard recommended. First thing in the morning, because it keeps it fresh in your mind all day, and then at night before you retire. That's when you're the most relaxed, and it's when you can program your brain, you can program your mind to accomplishing these things. So focus on each of these goals that you want to focus on for 2 to 3 minutes on each goal. And is there anything else that anyone wants to add before I give Angie? This might even be a whole other video. When I ask you this question, we might decide, but is there anything else anyone wants to add to any of those steps that are important that you've done as far as the steps go in doing a vision board?
One thing that I love, because if I just stare, because the recommendation that I heard when I was trained on vision boards is to look at it for 2 to 3 minutes, like morning and night. But if I just sit there and stare at it for 2 to 3 minutes, I get so bored. I can't even do it. But I can put on a piece of music, instrumental music, that's like 2 to 3 minutes long, and it becomes like this magical experience. And I'm starting to just envision that I have that thing, that I am that thing, and what my life is like with it. And it just becomes like this meditative, like awesome experience. And it's so easy. And then the time goes by like that, instead of just like sitting there, like
staring at it.
Yeah. So that's what I love to do.
It's the emotion.
I second that.
Yeah, I do like that. And it goes back to what Daryl was saying in his video of how powerful the emotions are in this process. That the emotions are what cause us to act, and the music stirs up the emotions, I think.
And it kind of can seep into your subconscious, like get into your subconscious much more easily with the music and the visualization, and like Tony, you said, like with the emotion, like all of that is so critical for creating something. And so it just makes it super easy to do.
Well, good. So go ahead.
One other step that I've added actually into when I teach people about vision boards and encourage them about vision boards is touching the thing that they're looking at and saying, I have it, that it's there. Making a physical connection as well as that emotional is physically reaching out. So I'm up in the mountains with my wife, but so say my vision board is right here, is I literally physically touch the picture and say or read the feeling that I get, but while I'm touching it. Makes a huge difference, because then I'm starting to mentally connect with the emotions, and then I'm also verbally hearing it. It's just been even more powerful.
I love that. So I'm going to end with this. From what you described, I'm going to repeat what Daryl said in his video about how this all works. As it's not like we're telling lies when we tell these end stories, but as our mind is picturing as your mind is picturing what you want, it kicks into motion naturally in a myriad of different methods to bring things into synchronization. What you see in comparison to the physical realm, like you say, you touch it and you envision it. It's not lying. It's programming your mind to match this dream as if it were a reality, and actually what is. So Angie, here's my question for you, and it might turn into a whole other interview. So we can end if you want, but I wanted you to touch a little bit on what you said, how you do your end stories. Do you have a separate binder? Do you suggest for your clients that they have a separate place where they keep track of their end stories? That
Yeah, well, they have a binder with all different sections, and that's one of the sections is
Okay.
after stories.
Well,
But then you can, because an after story, I've found you need to keep revising it, because the first time you write an after story and you imagine this, it's going to be pretty general because your mind hasn't fully clarified what you want. And as you move forward toward that goal, that picture is going to become more and more clear. So you want to write down more and more details. So it's like a work in progress. It's not like a once and done. And so as they get closer to their goals, they're going to have more understanding of what they want and keep rewriting it. So I just like to have it like in a notebook like that, where you can just like keep adding more pages. And
So something I started after listening to the book Can't Hurt Me was after action reports. And I do it over a lot of things, a lot of different parts of my life now. And it's just a personal reflection of how you did each thing that you did and what you could have done better, what went good, what went bad, and how it can help you in the future. And that sounds like that, and that's really good.
Yeah. What tell me the name of the book again.
Called Can't Hurt Me. The guy's name's David Goggins, and he is a Navy SEAL, but he grew up in just a horrible living environment with an abusive dad, and then just had a really bad life and then turned it into something really good. And he's a goal setter. I will warn you, if you're listening to it on Audibles, because it's kind of a podcast, there's two versions. There's one that is has a lot of language in it, so you might need to get the clean one. But he does, one of the things that he talked about doing, and it's just something that the military always requires, is the after post mission after action report. Those AARs, I started applying it to every part of my life. Like, it's been 7 or 8 months, and I love it.
It's so good when you find a book like that can help you to
Well,
change.
just anytime. I think I typed in earlier, I was on something, but you guys were talking about things that you might not want to be like, for just evaluating yourself. And I just was reminded of the talk, because this is how I do my goals, the what lack there I talk. And it's been a while since that was out on conference. But just thinking about that, because I always have a specific, I want to say personality trait, or just something about me, what lack there I, that I'm working on privately. And it's kind of one of those funny things, because those AARs that I've been doing, those after action reports, really do help me focus in on what to focus on in myself, or how to do something different the next time. So
good. And that probably all fits in with accomplishing all the goals. So I have, let's see, I'm going to do this other view here. Alexander. Oh, there you are, Alexander. So when I do the view of the whole everyone. For some reason, Alexander's cut out because I'm only able to get 6 people on here. Oh, there you go. Okay. So you've been kind of cut out. I don't know if that's how it recorded, but I appreciate all of you guys being on here. And has anyone looked on Facebook to see if they have any questions? Mine is going to be frozen. I can look on my cell phone, but because I advertised it as a Q&A, but I don't know if anyone thought to ask any questions.
There's no questions. I've been checking.
Okay, very good. Thank you. That's good. Okay, so yeah, if anyone has any questions that come up, feel free to throw it on this post. Oh, Tony, I love your image. That's so funny. And you're on a cruise. Anyway, so thanks everyone. If they have any questions, I'll send them to you. Make sure that you see them to answer them, or whatever. Or you can reach out to each of these coaches or people. Mary is not in the group. She's just a good friend of mine. One of my very dearest and best friends, Mary. And we have, she doesn't have her full name on there, but I want to tell you her full name. Is that okay with you, Mary?
Yeah, go for it.
Her name is Merry Christmas. And I love it. I love it. It just makes people smile every time they hear your name. So this is my friend Mary. And Alexander and Angie and Tony and Sharon are all coaches. And Stacy is a member of the community, right, Stacy?
I'm in Lexington, Kentucky, and I'm just a member of your
The
thriving.
community, yeah.
Anything that has to do with making yourself better is normally something that interests me. So I joined the group.
Awesome. Very good. I'm so glad you're there. So we could talk for hours, but we'll let you guys go, I guess. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Sherry. And thank all of you guys
Yeah.
for your experiences and input.
Nice to meet you guys.
Everyone.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Bye, Mary. Yeah.